Hello friends, this is Casey at the Bodie's Homestead, and in today's video I'm bringing you another article from the World Bank, Food Security, and C-19. An increasing number of countries are facing growing levels of acute food insecurity, reversing years of development gains. Even before C-19, reduced incomes and disrupted supply chains, chronic and acute hunger were on the rise due to various factors including conflict, socioeconomic conditions, natural hazards, climate change, and pests. C-19 impacts have led to severe and widespread increases in global food insecurity, affecting vulnerable households in almost every country, with impacts expected to continue through 2021 and into 2022 and possibly beyond, as the variant continues to spread. This brief looks at rising food insecurity during C-19 and World Bank responses to date. The Agricultural Commodity Price Index remained near its high level since 2013 as of July 16, 2021, was approximately 30% higher than in January 2020. Maize, wheat, and rice prices were about 43%, 12%, and 10% above their January 2020 levels. Surging prices reflect strong demand along with weather uncertainties, macroeconomic conditions, and C-19 related supply disruptions, even though the global production outlook for major grains remains good. The primary risks to food security are at the country level. Higher retail prices combined with reduced incomes mean more and more households are having to cut down on the quality and quantity of their food consumption. Numerous countries are experiencing high food price inflation at the retail level, reflecting lingering supply disruptions due to C-19 social distancing measures, currency devaluations, and other factors. Rising food prices have a greater impact on people in low and middle income countries since they spend a larger share of their income on food than people in high income countries. Rapid phone surveys done by the World Bank in 48 countries show a significant number of people running out of food or reducing their consumption. Reduced calorie intake and compromised nutrition threaten gains in poverty reduction and health and could have lasting impacts on the cognitive development of young children. Between 720 and 811 million people in the world went hungry in 2020. According to the UN report of the state of food security and nutrition in the world. Looking at the middle of the projected range, around 118 million more people were facing chronic hunger in 2020 than in 2019. Using a different indicator for that truck tracks year-round access to adequate food, nearly 2.37 billion people, or 30% of the global population, lacked access to adequate food in 2020, a rise of 320 million in just 1 year. C-19 is estimated to have dramatically increased the number of people facing acute food insecurity in 2020 and 2021. WFP estimates that 272 million people are already or at risk of becoming acutely food insecure in countries where it operates. Acute food insecurity is defined as when a person's life or livelihood is in immediate danger because of lack of food. Hunger was trending upward even before the C-19 pandemic, which exacerbated existing effects from extreme climate events, conflict, and other shocks to economic opportunities. At the country level, okay, now we're going to talk about World Bank support. So let's touch on what we've discussed. Obviously, there's massive food insecurity, food shortages, inflation, all of that going on all across the world. So, as I've been preaching in all of my prior videos, you really need to think about stocking up a pantry. I'm going to be doing a few pantry videos coming up, so be on the lookout for those. I'm going to be discussing how to start a rotating pantry. I'm going to do a couple more tours of some of the things that I store in my pantry and how I purchase them and how I worked up to the supply that I have. So be on the lookout for those. Okay, now we're going to talk about World Bank support and what the World Bank is doing to try to combat this. At the country level, the World Bank Group is working with governments and international partners to closely monitor domestic food and agriculture supply chains, track how the loss of employment and income is impacting people's ability to buy food, and ensure that food systems continue to function despite C-19 challenges. Responding to the emerging food security crisis, a paper released in December 2020 summarizes the bank's response in the poorest countries. IDA has provided 5.3 billion in new commitments between April and September 2020 for food security. This has been through a combination of short-term C-19 responses and investments to address the longer-term drivers of food insecurity. We're building on existing projects and deploying short and long-term food financing. So here are the countries that they're helping: Bangladesh, Bhutan, Chad, Guatemala, Haiti, India, the Kyrgyz Republic, Kyrgyz Republic, Rwanda, Senegal, Sierra Leone, and Tajikistan. Prevention. We're committed to helping countries prevent the next zoonotic disease from turning into a pandemic and be better prepared when risks materialize. World Bank experience with avian influenza shows that cross-sectoral coordinated investments in human, environmental, and animal health are a cost-effective way to manage risks and control diseases at the source. Over 70% of emerging infectious diseases in humans have their source in animals. Transmission of pathogens from animal to humans and EIDs are increasing into a rapidly changing environment with deforestation, land use change, and rapid population growth, amplifying the exposure of humans to diseases carried by animals. Under the C-19 package of the World Bank Group financing, countries can invest in long-term prevention such as strengthened veterinary services, disease surveillance, and food safety. In India, for example, the C-19 Emergency Response and Health Systems Preparedness Project will improve disease surveillance systems in humans and animals and health information systems across the country. In China, a new project will improve a risk-based surveillance system for zoonotic and other emerging health threats. It will strengthen the capacity for risk assessment, diagnosis, and monitoring of human, animal, and wildlife diseases. It will also improve protocols for information sharing between relevant agencies. So, this little blurb right here is basically because in other countries, people eat their wildlife like big time. Um, Starving countries will eat whatever they can catch. In China, rumored that C-19 was started by someone eating a bat soup, things like that. So that's what this little part is all about. They're trying to prevent any more diseases being spread because of countries that are low in food eating their wildlife and getting sick, and then boom, you have this massive spread of disease. So, okay, that's all for this article. Um, be thinking about putting food back in that pantry. Don't think for a second that just because this is America that it can't happen here. Food is your insurance. It's no different than having car insurance, life insurance, house insurance. So get on that food insurance. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.